Good morning, everybody. It is January 8th, 2026, and I wanted to do an answer to a question that was posed recently by White House advisor Stephen Miller. He said, by what right does Denmark hold Greenland? Good question, Steve-O. Let me offer you the answer. As far as the Americans are concerned, we recognized Denmark's control over Greenland in a treaty from 1917. We did a deal with the Danes back then in which we purchased what are now the U.S. Virgin Islands from them, and as part of the terms of the treaty, we recognized their political and economic control over Greenland. So it has been, that treaty was ratified. The United States, the United States has by law recognized Danish control of Greenland for 108 years. Prior to that, however, I'd point out that the United States and Denmark established full diplomatic relations with each other in 1801. And in the entire 224 years prior to this year, the United States has never challenged Denmark's legal ownership of Greenland. Now, I want to address another claim, which is we keep hearing that we have to have Greenland for national security reasons. It's national security. It's vital. We have to have it. Presumably, this means we need to have military or intelligence assets there. Here's the interesting thing. We have a military base there right now, today. As I'm making this video, the United States has a military presence on Greenland. China has no military presence there. Russia has no military presence there. None. By the way, it's kind of funny to hear the Trump administration, who spent the last several months desperately trying to buddy up to Russia, saying that we have to have it because Russia has a presence there. Russia has no military presence there. Russia has no naval presence there. The Russian Navy has, I won't get into all the details, but if you followed the tanker that tried to flee from Venezuela that the Americans seized yesterday, Russia tried to send a naval task force to secure it, and the Americans just ignored it, and there was absolutely nothing the Russians could do about it because the Russian Navy is a total joke. The only person that I'm even aware of, outside of Tucker Carlson and his fan base, who thought the Russian Navy was anything significant was Pete Hegseth. Although I get the feeling based on recent comments he's made that his belief that the Russians are in control of some massive war machine is pretty well shattered. But either way, the point of it is, we have had, by American law, we have recognized Danish control of Greenland for 109 years now. And we have never, in the more than 220 years of full diplomatic relations, ever challenged their control over it. And lastly, we've had a treaty with the Danes since the freaking Truman administration that allows us to put basically any military asset we want in Greenland. If Trump wants to send a whole regiment of the United States Army over there, he can. If he wants to send naval ships over there today, he can. If he wants to build more radar installations or a missile base, he can do it. Now, obviously, there's absolutely no reason to do it because it's freaking Greenland, and the cost of maintaining troops or military infrastructure there is enormous, and there's virtually no benefit. The small base we have there, we basically use as an airstrip and a satellite uplink. We actually used to have several military installations in Greenland throughout the Cold War. For those of you who are older, you may remember something called the DEW line. It was basically an early warning system in case of Soviet missile attack. We had a number of facilities there during that. And obviously the Soviet Navy, after the buildup under Brezhnev, had a lot of submarines in the North Atlantic. So we had more naval presence. And we also had monitoring stations because we had a lot of the SOSUS warning nets. Were in that area. There's that kind of space from Greenland to Iceland to Scotland, and there are the gaps there that naval ships had to move in and out of if you're coming out of the Baltic and trying to get into the Atlantic. And if you really want a good example of that, watch the British World War II film Sink the Bismarck, where they really kind of actually get into that geography in a very, very good, they do a great job explaining it for lay people. But yes, if you are of the belief that we are in dire need of Greenland for security reasons, I would point out that Trump could literally send the entire United States Marine Corps there tomorrow, and he'd be well within his legal rights, not as an invasion, but because we have the right to basically station any military assets that we want there. The Danes have never challenged us on that. When we wanted to put more radar bases, when we wanted to put additional airstrips, things like that in during the Cold War, they said, fine, go for it. In terms of mineral rights, the Trump administration was very obsessed with the idea that we needed to have mining access to Greenland during his first administration. The Danes said, sure, let's do a treaty and we'll give you all the access rights that you need. And they did. And not a single American mining company has gone there in now 8 years. because it's freaking Greenland, and the capital expenditure and the operational expenditures would be enormous, and every single mineral that's there you can find in 10 other places for a fraction of the cost. So what do you know? No mining companies going there. They can't make any money. My response to the question, by what right does Denmark control Greenland? How about full recognition under United States law? How about centuries of history? And if you're worried about security, again, we already have full security rights there. If you want minerals, any American mining company can go there and start setting up mines. None of them have done it. None of them are going to do it because it's freaking Greenland. So, Stephen, thank you for the question. There's my answer. I hope everybody has a good day.